friend of my late father's contacted me around Christmas last year, 11 months ago, and said, hey, I've been collecting anvils for a long time, and I kind of need to get rid of some anvils. Are you interested? And, at the time, I felt kind of anvil rich. I have my big 400-pound South German. I've got a Coleslaw. I have a post anvil and a sledge block. So, I said no, but I know somebody that might, right? And so I called a couple of people, and they were kind of interested and kind of not. And so, I was talking to him again about something else, and I said, hey, I'm actually going to be in the area for a family thing in a couple months, and I'll come take a look. So in the meantime, I talked to my best friend, who is also a blacksmith and jewelry maker, who was looking for a bigger anvil. And I said, well, I might have one for you. So I go down, and I go into the wilds of East Texas, behind the pine curtain, as it were, and I take a look at his anvils. And I'd seen him before. I'd seen him with my father a couple of times, and he had one anvil in particular that I didn't realize I really wanted, but once I saw it, I did, and it was a railroad bridge anvil. And I've always wanted a bridge anvil, especially for knife making and that sort of thing. It's really nice to have. And I don't have one, and they're hen's teeth. They're really hard to find. So I told him, I'll take, I guess I'll take that one. And a friend of mine, who, is also a blacksmith, he'll probably take this one or this one. And as we were talking, he said, oh, by the way, that big one right there, that I got that from your father. And damn it, I couldn't let that go. I couldn't. And he was incredibly generous with me. He did not sell these things to me at retail. The deal that I got on these anvils is kind of monumental, like early, late Christmas, birthday, like all rolled into one. Felt really fortunate. So I left that visit with the initial idea that anything with tape around the horn or the end, I was going to take. And then anything that had tape around the waist was for my buddy to take a look at and decide kind of which one that he wanted. Fast forward about 5 or 6 months, and in September, I was in Arkansas. My son had a thing that I was at, and I called up my best friend who I was staying with and said, hey, while I'm there, do you want to take a run down to East Texas and pick up these anvils, and then we'll get them shipped? And he was always in. And his oldest child, his son, and my son, we all loaded up in his SUV, put the trailer behind, and drove 4 hours into Texas. And got there, and faced with all those anvils, I may have bought another one. So what we ended up purchasing as a team was 6 anvils, a shear, and 2 swedge blocks, as well as a cone. We loaded that trailer down. I will say in my own defense, I was left unsupervised with a checkbook in another state. The night that we got back to Hot Springs to my buddy's house, we transitioned my new anvils onto a pallet, and maybe I didn't use enough ratchet straps. I could have used like 3 or 4 more ratchet straps, but got it ready to ship back to my place in Southern California. The price for my buddy making sure that everything got on the truck was really reasonable. 3/5 of scotch. Big old load of anvils just showed up. I don't know if I used enough straps. I probably didn't use enough straps. Contents made it safe and sound, no damage. 3 anvils, the shear, the block, and the cone. What I'm going to do is, in this video, I'm going to put together the base for the bridge anvil, because it actually will get a lot of use. First off, just done. And then I'll do another video where I put together tripod steel stands for the hay button and the West Steel. I appreciate you tuning in, and please stay because I'm going to show you like my full build and how it all went. Thanks, I appreciate it. And the bridge anvil weighs in at 381.7 pounds, 0.6 pounds. Man, I seem to be kind of a one-trick pony. I've got to build another anvil stand. I think this is my 4th one in a year. This one's going to be a little different than the others this year. They've all been tripods. Since this is a bridge anvil and, you know, big square base and that sort of thing, I'm going to support it a little differently. And I'm going to put it on 4 legs. And instead of doing a 15-degree kick out on the legs, I'm going to do a 10-degree. Just for stable base, it should be good to go. So let me get some material out and cut some material, and I will get all the parts together and start building this base. All right, time to prep all the bits and bobs for the stand. Going over to the grinder and getting them all prepped. Everything's cut and everything's prepped. I did take off my nerdy glasses, but you know, better to look stupid than to catch a spark in the eye. Not only are they all prepped on the grinder, but I went ahead and scrubbed everything down with acetone. I use wax and sometimes oil to extend blade life on my saws, and so it kind of gets nasty. In addition to that, I used to buy metal from this yard that I swear to God they would soak it in used motor oil. I mean, all the steel I ever got was just super oily. Now, no rust, but super oily. So gotta clean it up before we can start welding. All right, I got my fireball tool squares out. I've got my welding table clean, and gonna go ahead and jig it up and start this process. Oh, I did go ahead and prep some gussets and some feet as well, because, you know, that's what you do. All right, jigged up. We start tacking everything together. Well, I think I'm gonna pack it up for the night. I'm not happy with a single one of those welds. Not my voltage, my speed, everything is same thing it always is. And I don't know, maybe I'm tired. Maybe something else is going on. I don't know, but I'm not happy. I'm not happy with my welds. So next couple of days I'll pull out the grinder, cut into them, and re-weld a couple joints and make it better. Yeah, diminished returns. So I learned a long time ago, when you start getting diminished returns, just go ahead and pack it up and come back with fresh eyes. Yeah. Okay, I lied. I'm happy with one weld on this entire frame. One weld I'm happy with. I'm a little worried about getting these 10-degree legs right, but with these fireball tool stair squares and some clamps, this is going to get welded here. It's just a spacer, so I make sure that it's correct this way. But yeah, good to go. All right, let me get this side welded and I'll pop the other side in. Story time. I had some coffee that I got while I was out shoe shopping with my 2.5-year-old. And came back and was doing something, sat down the anvil, you know, finished what I was doing, reached back and grabbed it and had a big swig. And this is coffee from 3 days ago. I grabbed the wrong cup. It was disgusting. And I'm a dumbass. Well, finally it's time to paint. So for the bridge anvil base, I'm actually going to use a little different primer than my normal self-etching. So I've gone to a great deal of trouble to get everything really clean. So I'm going to use this, and supposedly it works much better on naked metal than the self-etcher. We'll see. And then I'm going to use Machine and Implement Orange as a nod to the original color of the anvil, because I'm not going to strip and repaint the anvil. I'm going to leave it natural, but we'll take the base orange. So here we go. Well, first coat on, and man, I hate this. I really much prefer my normal primer. I got runs everywhere, just uneven coating and runs. I'm gonna have to hit this with a Scotch Brite and put a couple more coats on it. Jesus. All right, first coat of Implement Orange on. So this is, I put 2 coats on the top and flipped it over, and I'm gonna put a couple on the bottom. This is the first coat, and man, I really dislike this primer. The paint's okay, but I just dislike the primer. So I think that may be the last time I use that particular primer. I'm gonna put another coat on the bottom, flip it over for one last top coat, let it air cure for 48 hours, and then put an anvil on it. All right, what you're seeing here is my tolerances on this stand were really tight. And I didn't mean for them to be this tight. I meant to have like a 1/16 of an inch kind of all the way around. Yeah, so I had to press fit this this anvil into the stand, as you can see here with the C-clamp. Now, in 70, 100 years, when somebody decides it needs a different set of shoes on this anvil, there's going to be some cussing, because getting this thing off this stand is not going to be easy. But it's a solid connection, and it'll never jump and never move. So, all right, with a little bit of percussive maintenance and some clamps, I got it to just pop right in. So really happy. There is absolutely no gap, and I'm gonna have to touch up the paint just a little bit, but I got great silicone squeeze out all the way around. Really happy with the fit. I mean, I could have made it a little looser, but it fits the anvil, that's for sure. Here you can really see the original orange of the anvil, and then how the stand kind of complements it. So yeah. Well, project done and off the list. Now I just need to find a proper place to put it in the forge where it actually gets some good use. I appreciate that you stayed this far and you watched the whole video. It means a lot. It really does. If you have any questions about either how I built the stand or the anvil itself or anything, just drop a note in the comments. All right. Thanks so much. Have a great day.